people want to know, are you buying name brand Flavor Pops or are you buying...
You know we shop at Aldi. You know we shop at Aldi.
Man, you got to keep it real. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it. I love it.
Of course. So a parent the other day goes, aren't you worried about giving them the red ones? Is there red dye number 3 in that?
Oh.
And I was like, I don't know. It's summer. Does your kid want a freeze pop or not? And so...
It's a very good question.
Then I got this question of, are we poisoning our children with all of these artificial dyes? So time to talk about red dye number 3.
What does the thyroid do?
The thyroid is a gland in the front of the neck that helps with metabolism.
Okay.
So if your thyroid is underactive, you gain weight, you get dry skin while still having a good appetite, you get fatigue. And if your thyroid is overactive and making too much, because of an autoimmune condition, often called Graves' disease, but there's many things, you'll get heart racing, weight loss, sweating, agitation, and a risk for atrial fibrillation.
And that's how you get that thyroid eye disease?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, and that's when you're getting too much thyroid hormone, which most often happens due to this thing called Graves' disease.
Okay.
But in this case, red dye number 3, erythrocine, was found to be toxic to rats. And the question is, does that mean that humans should not have it? And you know when we figured that out?
When?
1980. Yeah.
I was 5.
I was 1.
All right.
And so in 1980, we found out it was dangerous to rats, but then there was never studies showing that it was dangerous to humans.
Well, because, I mean, how do you get humans to sign up for that?
In 1990s, it got banned in cosmetics.
I understand the rats, because they're not signing a non-compete or an NDA. But, you know, how do you test it on people?
Well, so far there's been no direct correlation, but the question is, it still may be dangerous. How do you quantify how much someone is getting in? Really hard to know.
Yeah.
And so at this point, here's the thing. It has now been banned. It has now been banned based on this thing called the Delaney Clause. And in 1960...
Who is Delaney? There was nobody named Delaney in 1960.
Yeah.
Delaney is a really new name. There's no way that there was somebody named Delaney.
Last name Delaney, not first name.
Okay.
And if your first name was Delaney, do you go by Delaney or Del?
Yeah, I don't know. Lane? Lane?
Yeah.
Probably Lane. That's cute.
And so the Delaney Clause in 1960